All right. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Path to Exile Podcast, episode 16, partnered with Mobalytics. I'm Kyle Torek, and joining me per usual is Miso Shiro. No Deb Rabbit this week. He is on vacation in Sweden with his wife. He will be back next week, but we have a special guest this week, Talkative Try. He's back again, and we are going to be talking a lot about POE 1 and POE 2 patch 0.4 with him. But before we dive into that talk, first reminder, we have the audio-only format with Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so if you don't want to watch us on YouTube, I know some of you like to listen to us on your breaks or at work and stuff. Hey, we have the audio-only format, so check us out there. As well as we are doing the Ray Class World Tour. It is a hideout showcase contest. We announced it last week. In case you did miss the announcement, yeah, you have, I think, 5 or 6 days to submit your hideouts. I know there are a handful of people who are still working on their hideouts and submitting it last minute, but there have been very few submissions so far, so this might be an easy win if you have made a cool hideout recently. Yeah, so if you haven't heard about the contest, check it out. We are yeah, it's a quick prize. We partner with Mobalytics, and hopefully we'll do another one soon. The timing of this one was a little bit awkward. I kind of regret doing this right now that we have the new league starting in 3 weeks. I would have much preferred probably to do it with the new league, but you know, it's too late. Too late. We're committed, and it's hype. Um, Hideouts are cool. We were just talking about transmog in the pre-patch. Do you get into hideouts at all?
No, not hideouts, not beyond just buying the latest, greatest cosmetics from GGG and then styling it to what suits me best. So I have the new, I don't even know the proper name, Wizard's Tower, which allows you to just overlook all the landscapes in PoE 1 and PoE 2. But I just put the NPCs where they need to go, and that's it. I'm not that much of a artiste, unfortunately. But I respect those who are. So you should get into this contest. Guys, Steam gift card. You can buy Arc Raiders. You can buy Hades 2. You can buy Escape from Duck. All these games if you win. Come on. Let's go. All these great games.
Speaking of great games, last week, but like non-PoE talk, what have you guys been up to? I have been playing Dispatch and Arc Raiders. I really like Dispatch. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it on Twitch the last few weeks. It is made by the guys that were part of the Telltale team, partnered with the Critical Role team. So you got a bunch of fantastic voice actors. You got a fantastic story. If you like Telltale games, you'll love this, especially if you like superhero themed stuff. So it consumed me the last couple days, and then I've been playing a bit of Arc Raiders. What about you guys? I know you both have been grinding PoE 1, right?
Yeah, a lot of PoE 1 here. I have heard things about Dispatch from the internet, but many of my friends have hopped into Arc Raiders and they're desperately trying to get me to play it.
It's
So,
fun.
Cal, can you sell it to me any more than my friends have tried to?
Um, so if you've ever wanted to get into the looter extractor games like Dark and Darker, or those games are really fun, but they're a lot like they can be overwhelming to approach. This is like the easiest to approach of all of them, in my opinion. And it's got one of the more friendlier player bases. You often find, especially in solo queue, you often find people who won't kill you. Surprisingly enough, like you will get killed plenty, but I don't know. This is like, I wouldn't say it's like the noob version of these kind of looter extractor games, but it is it's way easier to get into. I don't know.
Okay. I like
But
that.
I love this genre. I was big in the Dark and Darker. My YouTube channel, when it first started growing, initially it was from Dark and Darker videos. But that's like a first person, like, Oblivion style fantasy game. This is, third person. Um,
I might
so
have
yeah.
to give it a go because my friends were talking about how the proximity chat is just hilarious in the game, and there's so many organic situations that pop up, and there's a lot of improv, almost storytelling. They just naturally evolve, which is super fun to me. It kind of ties into what I've been playing the last week. I haven't been playing any games besides PoE 1. I did DM my first session of a tabletop RPG in over 2 years this last week. We played Shadow Dark. I don't know if either of you guys know that one. It's niche. It's basically an old school version of modern day D20 fantasy, like Dungeons and Dragons 5e. Very fun, very lethal. I was a terrible dungeon master. I was
No such
definitely
thing.
rusty. I was rusty,
There's
dude.
no such thing.
Oh,
If
my
people had fun,
voices.
you did a good
Oh,
job. That's all that
everybody
matters.
had fun. But
You're a good DM, man.
every time I described something, my friends, because we're all childhood friends and we've been playing tabletop games for a long time together. You know, my brother-in-law, my brother was on there. Every time I'm describing the scene, I swear everybody took it as like a sex joke. It was crazy. Like I was describing these two pigs, these two giant pigs that were dragging this cart, and I said two massive sweaty hogs, and everybody's just like,
Whoa.
over Discord, like everybody's just losing their minds over. I can't, and every time I tried to get serious, I swear they would just go to like phallic jokes, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to go back to the drawing boards with all this, and we'll play again in a few weeks. We were supposed to play last night, but my daughter was beyond 6. We didn't get to play, so but that was super fun. So encourage any of you guys, if you haven't played TTRPGs, give them a go. You can play them online now. Really easy, really fun.
Yeah, I remember my first time DMing for my friends. Like, you just get clowned on the entire time because, like, you're nervous and you're like, obviously, this wasn't your first time doing it, but first time in a while. So I'm sure you had like the jitters when you're going through it and stuff. And I remember one time that was like, we were doing at a bar scene, and I said something like the pickles are grown out back. And then I just got clowned on that for like weeks about growing pickles out back. It was just something I said on the fly, and that just happens when you're DMing.
When I was 17 or 18, I think we'd been doing a long running campaign. I've DM'd for over 15 years, essentially, lots of long running campaigns. This was among the first, and I was getting better and better at just describing events and being very adjective oriented and being able to be snappy with my descriptions and sometimes flowery when I needed to be. Well, there was this big bad evil guy, the villain of the entire campaign, summoned a creature in front of the adventurers, and I just described him as a bipedal snake man. And I don't know why, but it just turned into like a meme forever. They're like, oh, whoa, gotta watch out for the bipedal snake man. Like, just every single time there would be a monster, they're like, is he bipedal? And I'm like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous. That's why I love these games, because the stupidest stuff becomes just an in joke with the group, and you can laugh at it 5 years, 10 years down the line. It's great.
I mean, tabletop these tabletop games are pretty much just like, adult make believe. It's pretty much what it is. When you're kids, you're going around pretending you were fighting dragons, and we're basically doing that again.
Yes, it's fun to just let loose and do whatever. So,
do you guys
what have you been doing? Oh, role play. Oh, I love role play. Yeah. I'm big into role play. I'm not a cruncher. I'm not a cruncher in POE. I'm not a cruncher in tabletop RPGs. I would do voices, lots of like twists and scenarios, all that stuff. We would have 3-4 session stretches with no combat, and it would just be telling the story, exploring the world.
Well, no, what I mean is like you're a real life person. You have to like have you play your character in person, like you are your character type of situation.
Where you like I've never cosplayed my character.
Well, not like cosplay, but like let's say you give your character a certain personality or whatever, and everything that you do has to like align with that personality.
Oh, in game, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, always.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No. I used to do a Dungeons and Dragons like YouTube series where it was a 5th edition, but we modified it for like World of Warcraft themed. And like we would have multiple sessions where it would be like 3 to 4 hours of no combat, and it would just be us being dwarves in Stormwind or something. It was just pure RP. Like that's my jam. I don't go out of my way to not know the rules, but like most of the time I'm the DM that's like, hey, how does this rule work again? I ask my players, because my players know more about their characters than I'm ever going to. Right. So I'm not a rules lawyer at all. I am very loose with the rules. I'm very much there for the RP and the storytelling. Like I'm DMing because I want to tell a story with my friends, not because I'm here to play a video game or something like that. Like I'm here for the RP 1000%.
I have a lot of trouble separating me as a person from my character. So like, I'll make a character backstory, and then at some point that character just becomes me.
That's not awful. That you just gotta. That means you just gotta go into your character creation knowing that, and you just gotta. If you're gonna be playing a lawful good character or whatever, you just gotta make sure. Yeah, that's funny though. I know players like that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people kind of fall into that. It's hard. It's acting. It's acting.
Yeah.
People aren't actors naturally for the most part. So really falling into and embodying a different character, it's really difficult. So I played with some people for over 2 decades, 15 as a DM and 5 or 20 as a player, and my friends will just fall into the same characters every single campaign. It's hilarious.
It's fine though.
Yep.
That's me.
As long as they're having fun. We need to POE lore, right? You're like a big lore guy.
I mean, of course he does.
You need to set up a one shot where we're playing a POE themed little 5th edition run.
Ooh.
I have heard this many a time. Shadow Dark actually would work pretty well in Ray Classed. So maybe we make that happen. I've always said if I'd be super full time, I would 100% do it.
You know what we should do?
Maybe I'll just do it if I don't go full time though, just for a little one shot.
You send a little one shot, yeah.
If we go to Exile Con, just do a in-person session.
Well, yeah, for sure. For sure.
You guys think there's going to be another one for like 1.0?
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it would be pretty. It would be a big mistake, I think, if they didn't, because like I think it would be just like that culmination, all the hype, everything, just like getting everybody excited.
Yeah. I think I wanted to bring this up on the podcast actually. I wanted to ask you guys when you think we're going to have the 1.0 release, and my guess right now is early 2017.
Really?
2027?
2027, yeah, not 17, 2027. Early 2027 is when I'm guessing we'd be getting a full release. I think we have another full year of early access.
Are we going to the Path of Exile 2 talk then?
Yeah, let's go into it. But what I was saying that for it was I think in early 2027 is when we'd have that Exile Con as well with the 1.0 launch.
What were you going to say, Misu?
I'm thinking my guess was earliest spring 2026, but realistically maybe like end of summer 2026 was my thought process.
Would that be with 0.5 or 0.6?
No, I think they would. I think they just skip it. They just be like, all right, we're gonna skip straight to 1.0. Whatever number they're at, they're just gonna bring it up straight up to 1.0.
Yeah, right. Definitely the version change. Yeah. I have monetarily. It's Christmas season, December 2020. I think on like the 2-year anniversary. I think that would be the smartest time to go on 1.0. Yeah, I think so. And it would give them more time to hopefully get all the classes in. I know Jonathan has said, we don't necessarily need all the class, kind of shifting the goalpost a little bit. All the classes, maybe 5 out of the 6 acts, maybe partially of Act 6. Hi, Kitty. You can be on camera. I don't care. I love you. And and they'll be able to test and like make sure the game is well balanced for that surge of free-to-play players. Because yes, we got a bunch of players for these free weekends, but when 1.0 hits, whole different beast. Just like when 0.1 came out, it was a tsunami of people playing. 589,000 peak. That's crazy.
Just on Steam. Just on Steam.
Just on Steam. What I think Jonathan said around 900K or something.
Yeah, total across console, across everything, non-Steam, everything.
And that's paid. That was at least $30 entry, or some people gifted keys, whatever. But a lot of paid copies. That's crazy. So I think December 2026 is the launch. I don't see that. I don't see them pushing it to 2027.
Yeah,
I think Miso is right. I think it would be earlier, or optimal time is end of year.
The reason why I think 2027 is probably not going to happen just because like they said it was going to be 2025. And
that was Cook though. I don't know what he was thinking.
I think that given that, it would be one like a little bit embarrassing to be like
all of that was said before they had committed to the on-off cycle of like 1 and 2 every 2 months. So I feel like that has to push stuff back. I know 2027 is probably a little bit too far, but
Yeah.
I feel like that addition of extra PoE1 content has to just be like at least a year delay.
And I'm sure they also have to please stakeholders. It's important.
Tencent doesn't care. Come on. They're letting them do their thing. I think they're off hands for the most part.
I think they're off hands for the most part, but at the same time, I do think if you promise 2025 and then you push 2027, I think that's a little bit too much.
Do you think that they're not making a decent amount of money? Because I think they're selling a ridiculous amount still because it's not like they're not monetizing early access. They're treating it like full release. Mystery boxes, supporter packs, new MTX in the store.
I mean,
I think they're making a lot.
They're not even doing mystery boxes or PoE1 anymore, from what I've noticed. Right?
I noticed that. Yeah.
Because I was like waiting. I'm like, where's my MTX box? Where's my mystery box? Right? But then it's not coming for both mercenaries and for keepers. It was like no mystery box. I'm like, huh. I guess they're only doing mystery box for PoE2 now.
True.
I imagine they're doing really well. They launched in China, right, recently.
They did.
So
Yeah.
I have no idea what the numbers were like for that, but I'm sure the sales was a big boost in money for them. So I imagine they'd be able to coast for a while with that little boost from China sales. So
I don't know.
Cal, I was just gonna say, Diablo 4 is going to release in China soon. So I don't know. I mean,
Diablo 4 is not in China already.
It's
Blizzard's
just
not in
released.
China, right? In general,
they re-upped their deal with NetEase, I believe, in recent months. So Diablo 4 was not released in China. Yeah. So I saw pictures of Diablo 4 China. It's censored, no bones or any of that stuff. So it's coming. PoE competition. I don't know, man.
I actually think that
didn't Adam just leave? So
I did see that. But didn't I feel like D4 has for some reason in my mind works a little bit better in China compared to here.
I have no idea. I imagine because just how big mobile games are there. I don't know how big Diablo Immortal was there, but if it was big, then I'm sure there'd be some of that audience that's hyped for D4.
Yeah. Mobile games are huge in China, so casual games are really big, and D4 is a little casual.
Yeah. Speaking on Adam Fletcher leaving, I'm not afraid to say when I think a senior class designer left and all these top level executive producers leaving and everybody's like, oh, that's such a bloated team. Okay, the game is terrible to everybody. Blasters, casuals, I feel like anybody who talks about it does not like the game for the most part. But with Adam leaving, dude was legit awesome. He was a member of the community. He constantly was talking to the community's worries, speaking with creators, just people typing on Reddit and everything. I thought he was a great community manager. So I think that is a pretty substantial blow to the D4 team, legitimately. So RIP.
I think he was one of the most likable members on that crew. Everybody liked him.
Yeah, he was great.
As much as people like to meme on the vision and stuff, having a vision is very important, and losing people who are in charge of that vision. Anytime you bring somebody in, they're going to try and align themselves with the vision of the game as much as they can, but their vision is going to be different. There's going to be just completely different directions, completely different things they see that they want to do, and the amount of overturn that game has at the high level, the top level, is just... I'm sure everyone that's working on the great game is caring and tries the best they can, but there's no way it will ever compete with any other game on the market for me. I didn't buy the last expansion. I don't want to turn this into a D4 shitfest, but there's no way I ever play that game again.
Then let's move on. I won't say anything else about Diablo.
You can say whatever you want. I think
they're gonna announce Diablo 5 at that BlizzCon next year.
Oh no! I mean, what I'll say is it's an oh no, but also well, I think this is probably the best because Diablo 4 doesn't have a good reputation. They need to start anew and have a fresh slate. They do.
It was so huge, guys. They had the entire, I swear, gaming ARPG community by the balls at launch, and they just screwed it so hard. I don't know what else to say. It was huge. It catapulted Like, I remember DM's videos. Guys, so many people were playing this game. And it wasn't just, to experience the story. I think they had the chance to hook a lot of people into this game, and they kind of just failed. So I think it's a reset. I think they're going to announce Diablo 5. This expansion's going to come out. It's going to be announced at whatever, the Game Awards, probably come out early in the year. And at the end of I don't know when BlizzCon is next year. Was it like summer or something? Maybe later in the year?
Remember. I think it was November.
November? Then they're going to be like, bam, here we are.
Diablo 5 cross-play between mobile and PC, baby. Everything you guys wanted.
There we go. There we go. Hey, Diablo Immortal's Druid looks kind of sick, not going to lie.
You just want Druid. You're just a big Druid fan.
I'm growing the beard out. I'm getting hairy for the Druids. So, I'm just embodying it everywhere. Not everywhere.
I am praying that Marauder comes so I don't have to play Druid. The only way I don't play Marauder or Druid is if I get something like Axes. But I'm pretty forced into Druid right now.
You're forced? You don't want to play? Why don't you want to play Druid?
Every time I play it, it just doesn't hit the feeling I want for Druid. I don't know. There hasn't been a Druid I've fallen in love with yet. Like in World of Warcraft, like Druid is something that you're like, you use all of your shapeshifts and you are like bear form, cat form, cheetah form, bear form. Like you are flying between these forms so much. And that's what I loved about like Druid. And most of the ARP Druids I play are just
trash. They're trash.
I don't like them.
Cal, I agree with you. Diablo 4 Druid, trash. Last Epoch Druid, not great, guys. Not a fan.
D2 Druid is okay, but that's just okay. Like it doesn't still like you're still forced into a very specific archetype, and that's not what I want from Druid.
Right. So here we go, dude. They know. They've been edging the Path of Exile community since 2011 with the Druid. They haven't included it. They're a spiritual successor to Diablo 2. They have been building to this moment for 14 years. They're going to knock it out of the park. All right. I have faith in grinding your games.
I think so. I think with the weapon swap and how it's set up, because I'm envisioning like, the way it's been explained to me is like the weapons are going to be attached to the form. So like if it's like the bear form skills, it's going to be attached to like whatever the bear form mace or what are they called? What's the weapon for Druid called?
I mean, we don't know. Yeah,
talismans
people were thinking talismans. It was like data mined, but like also in the trailer in like 2018 or whatever that was, they had it was a staff. That was the weapon they were using.
Right.
In 2023.
Oh, 2023.
When they released that Druid footage, they used the staff for all the spells. And then when you go shapeshift, you don't use a weapon. Like your weapon stats didn't count. So it was like demon form. I think they've learned from their mistake. Like, all right, we definitely don't want to remove a fundamental part of your character progression. Some would say the most important part. And just say, everything's baked into your shapeshifting forms. That's a pain to balance, right? Do they taper off at Endgame? I think they're going to have a weapon attached to forms. I think that's the way to go.
I mean,
I think
you don't like unarmed? You don't like unarmed stuff? Face breakers?
Yeah, but
that unarmed is cool, but I don't think that'll work for Druid.
It's a very specific scaling, right? It's one keystone. And it only has like one way you can essentially build it, right? We're going to have bear form and a bunch of skills related to bear form. Then we're going to have wolf form. Then we're going to have unannounced form. And then hopefully an ascendancy form. Like, I don't think that they should like narrow you in to just playing X style, Y style, Z style with the forms. I think that you should be able to customize it with unique weapons or just talismans that you can roll and craft and all that. At least that's the way I picture it. Maybe.
That's how I'm picturing it right now. Like when I'm talking about it in my Thorns Discord, my plan is League starting Bear Thorns in weapon set 1, and then whatever the fast mobility agile thing is in weapon set 2. So like when I need to move around, I'll swap the wolf form, I'll dart around, leap around, or panther form, and then for the tankier stuff, I swap to the bear form or something. Like I'm very much envisioning, like I'm going into it wanting to force a form swap in the play style, because weapon swaps right now are so fun in POE 2 with the new patch, with they removed the cooldown on weapon swapping. So if it's just literally just like a quick button up press and you instantly shapeshift into the new form, there's not like a big 5-6 second cast time.
There is gonna be like a couple second cast time. That is.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's going to be a lineage support gem that makes shape shifting instant. Like, there's going to be ways.
They have an animation. The last time we saw it, there was like a 0.2-second animation. However, for example, it was just to shift into the form. So if you're in bear form already and you use different bear skills, you don't have that delay.
Yeah,
so
but if you go from
there's
bear
almost
to
like a
wolf, I would assume
Yeah.
there's an animation that's going to play.
Right. Yep.
Well, we'll see
I
how
think-
it plays.
yeah,
That's
I
my
think you're-
plan going into it, though.
Right. I think you're right, though, Cal. I think there will be avenues to shorten that shift window down
hope so.
to almost inconsequential amount. So, oh, guys, I'm
so.
so excited. We're like 3 weeks away. I swear to God. If
You think it's
not
3 weeks
there,
away? What date do you think the patch is dropping?
December 12th.
I
12th.
hope it's just the 12th because again, I'm going to Japan on
You're
Tuesday.
in Japan.
I'm going to be gone until the 8th. So, oh no, the 6th, the 6th, I think. Is it
So
the
if
6th or
it
the
releases
8th?
on the 5th, you're
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah, so like I'm gone until the 6th. So if they tell me that it's coming out on the 5th, I will change my flight. I actually will change my flight.
You know you're addicted when you're ruining a vacation to come home to play POE.
I will actually change my flight to come back early.
Wow.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
the timing is. I don't know. I still. We talked about it like for the last 2 weeks. I think I still am surprised it's releasing before Christmas. Like I was very violently thinking it was gonna release. I don't. I am someone who I think GGG is making a mistake treating the game like it is finished. It needs to be treated like it is an early access unfinished product. The fact that we only got 0.3.1 pisses me off to this point still. We got only one real patch this entire league. And now we're getting the league launch out of nowhere. It felt like we were leading up to 0.3.2 and now we're getting the league. And I'm not upset, by the way. I want to play the new
You seem
patch more
pissed.
than anything. The way they're handling this game is it's not finished, man. It is not a finished product, but they're in a production cycle that it is.
I feel you. I totally feel you. I'm going to be GGG White Knight here.
Go for it.
There, I just feel for them because I think Dead Rabbit and you guys all talked about it last pod, but they obviously just haven't been able to scale up to where they want to be at this point, right? They have two unwieldy monsters. And even though Path of Exile 1 is a finished game, man, does it need a lot of changes every single league to make the player base happy. So they have to put a substantial amount of work into that game. And while I've seen some wild people saying, well, this was a tiny league. They barely did anything in this Path of Exile 1 league. There was nothing. And I'm sitting here like, what are you? This is a huge ass league. It has all these awesome mechanics baked into it. Yes, it has like reskinned monsters and stuff, but it also has unique boss fights. It also has all these extra systems.
They
like all the
redesigned
Foulborn
like
unique-
a ton of uniques, like with
They redesigned it. I'm like,
Foulborn.
well, what are you
They
doing?
just
Bloodborne,
added
Bloodline
80
champion
just
lines,
right
whatever.
now
They added them in.
yesterday.
Guys, they are putting a lot of work into this. Yes, it sucks that they're not also working on PoE 2. I agree, because I think I would prefer more Path of Exile 2, and it needs more love right now. But this is just the way it's going to be until they get more people. Because the way that their organization currently functions, they have like a few like playmakers, okay? I'd say like Jonathan, Mark, probably a few other people. They can make the plays. They can make the big design decisions.
You said
for
5
each
people,
game.
I think.
Like
Well,
five people, right?
Well, that's
That was the last.
balance. The balance is like 5.
That's
people
for
that they-
balance.
they
But
trust.
the way it sounds is that a lot of the big ideas, they are funneled through the playmakers, the people who with the vision. So I think that happens in PoE 1 and PoE 2. So until they hire in or train up some people who are able to make the calls, essentially, on both games, I think it's going to be in this area where we're going to get a 0-3-1. We're not going to get a 0-3-2. We're never going to get mid-league stuff. I think that's done.
But we got that in 0-2-2 though. We got a bunch of random ass uniques.
It's because they
Well, in
it's
0-3-1, we got a big one. It was a big one. They removed towers, essentially.
I mean,
it was big.
it's because 0.
Okay, so if you put
0.3
it into
was 5
perspective,
months. 0.3 was 5 months. We're getting in less than 4 months at this point for patch 0.3.
Right. Yeah, this is crazy. It's on the shorter end of the cycle.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Like,
no, it definitely got
yeah.
rushed out. But like, ignoring what Path of Exile 2 is in like the space and as an ARPG, in my opinion, Path of Exile 2 is arguably like one of the best, if not the best, early access product we've ever received in terms of how successful it is and like how well received it is by its community. The fact that like the amount of patches it has gotten over the last year compared to any other early access game that has had this amount of success is probably like astronomically smaller. It's just so much smaller in comparison. Like you would expect an early access game with this amount of success to have gotten a lot more patches. And again, we have to give GGG the benefit of the doubt. POE 1. We talked about how last patch we never want to see POE 1 sunset as like a development. It needs its love and its support. But the amount of patches it has gotten is you know, it is definitely shocking. But
it is crazy. I think it all harkens back to that, and it was a wild period. I was kind of reflecting a few days ago on how wild this last year has kind of been for the games, and I think it all goes back to those first 2-3 weeks after launch when they got so many people playing this game. It was so popular, guys. You could post anything PoE 2 related on any social media platform, and people were talking about it. They were retweeting it. They were commenting. You know, like all the biggest streamers were playing, like Asmongold and Charlie. Everybody's playing it, right? They got so much exposure. And then they did one of these, like, okay, 1 week. Oh, okay. We're going to fix these bugs. We're going to do a little bit of balance, and it's going to break some stuff. And it pissed people off. There was a social media backlash, and somebody in the company made the call, never again. And we're not going to do passive tree resets because we don't want players to get adjusted to that. We're going to take a hard stance on all this, and we're just going to treat it like a finished game, and people are going to have to deal with it. I think that's when the decision was made. Like, people have pushed GGG on this in interviews and privately and a lot in public. They have not even budged, right? Especially on the balance front. Nothing at all. They've just committed to these larger patches addressing gameplay mechanics or fixing game-breaking bugs. But they've really done nothing in regards to patching builds or items or balance in subsequent patches. Totally agree with you, Cal. It is crazy that it's been a year and there's probably only been 6 major patches, including the big releases and then the 0.1 releases as well. It's kind of wild, given how many people love and play it. So
all I can say is that I completely agree that was probably what happened, right? Because they had that huge backlash and they're like, you know what? We're done. We're not doing this. Players are not happy. But like, also, I think that they took the wrong message. I think they took the completely wrong message. The problem was they did like in 1 week, I think they did like 2 or 3 balance patches that like destroyed builds or like nerfed builds, right?
Yes.
And that was within the first couple days of playing the game. Like you didn't like, the thing is they nerfed like what? Gas grenade. Like that ended up not even being that good. They found way more OP stuff later on. Like, and then those didn't get addressed. Like, I think what ended up happening was they nerfed too quickly, but then also the time between like the nerfs was too small, so you didn't let players actually enjoy their builds. Like their builds couldn't ramp to a point where it was enjoyable before like, you know, it got nerfed, right? So it felt like I was working towards this thing. I have this goal, but then like you're like, well, all of a sudden that goal is taken away. So that was like one of the big issues. I think they just nerfed too much too often. And if it was like, you know, maybe once every 2 weeks, once every month, something like that, that would have been fine. But then the other thing is, even though that they said they're not nerfing anymore, and you said that there's you were saying earlier that they're not nerfing. There actually have been nerfing. There have been builds that have been broken from certain things and like certain changes. Like I know like there's some warrior builds with like the war cries and stuff like that got destroyed. But the thing is, they didn't even say it was a bug. They just said they just, you know, tweaked it or like changed it or something like that.
Oh,
right?
really?
They didn't call it a bug. There were, I think, 2 or 3 things that they didn't call a bug that got changed that completely either destroyed a build or like made the build a lot weaker. So they say they're not nerfing, but they are kind of nerfing every now and then. So
interesting.
I mean, if they're gonna nerf like that, might as well continue to do like, again, I think it was just a situation of too much too often and too early too, when they did that. And I think that they should, you know, start doing more changes. And it doesn't even have to be nerfs, right? We just want to see changes.
Yeah,
we just
I don't want nerfs. Like, we have to clarify this every time on the pod. I'm not calling for nerfs when we want patches.
Yeah.
I do not care that lightning arrow is god tier every patch. Like, because I don't I don't care.
I don't think we should. I don't think it should be like god tier every patch. That would be. It's been
it's
three leagues in a row where lightning
a lot
arrows.
Of people really like it. I don't know. I don't want it nerfed into the ground. I like it. Being
nobody
good.
wants
I just
to
want
have it nerfed to the ground.
Unplayable stuff, buffed up. And anytime we talk about wanting more patches, that's what people think is like, you remember they got pissed at nerfs. We don't want nerfs. We just want a little bit more patches. I don't know. Right. So like the last thing I want to say, I want to clarify because I don't want POE 1 players to get upset. I think POE 1 should be back on its 4-month cycle, but I strongly believe that POE 2 is not ready for that cycle. And if that means we need a longer time between leagues, I am okay with that as long as we're getting patches in that time that help out the game. If it meant 5 to 6 months leagues for PoE 2, that's okay because it's not ready for the 4-month cycle in my head anyway. It just needs more patches throughout that period. We need 0.3.3, 3.4, etc. But we're locked into the 4-month thing at this point. So
interesting. I wonder. They need a strike team to stay on PoE 2 and tweak numbers and everything every few weeks.
We're getting there.
That's how I thought it was going to be, right? Because if you go back to like Path of Exile 1's beta or alpha and beta that was public, that's what it was. It was every single week tweaking numbers, adding little new skills to the game, nerfing stuff, giving passive tree resets constantly to the players. I really thought PoE 2 was going to be that. I think that it got too big too fast and they kind of panicked. I think that's what's happening here. But I think to both of your points, then why not do it in these dead times, right? When there's still 20,000 people playing the game.
Yeah, that's what Rabbit brought up last week.
Right, and not nerfing stuff, just like, buffing some skills here and there. I think we talked about this, right, when I was on, like taking the Dota 2 approach where, you knock up some numbers by a few percentage points. And
if it doesn't work, knock it back down a little bit, you know?
So, my concern is they are so into the whole... Like, I just, my fear is there's someone internally that's like, anytime it's like, okay, let's do this patch. It's like, okay, wait. That shouldn't be in this patch, though, because this is going to be really awesome for a part of 0.4 because it makes 0.4's announcement more hype. Like, is my big concern is there is just so much stuff that, like, they could have released to us a few weeks ago, but it's like, well, we might as well just hold it for 0.4 because if we announce it with this, that's going to be a grand slam.
No, you're 100% right. No, that's exactly what they're doing. Have you guys seen Chris Wilson's talk, designing Path of Exile 2 to be played forever, GDC? That talk?
I have not.
Oh my god, dude, Cal, as a game designer too, you should totally watch that. It's amazing. Hour-long talk. And he actually goes over, I can't believe I haven't thought of this until this moment. You just said it, Cal. You're 100% right there. They used to do exactly that for Path of Exile 1. They used to do like month-long league cycles. They used to do balance patches every 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, back to 1 month. And they kept seeing players drop off, right? And then when they committed to, back then it was the 3-month league cycle, where they saved it, they released it, bug fix, and then saved everything for the next patch. They just saw year after year after year, release after release, player numbers go up, which is really what they care about, right? That's exactly what they're doing with Path of Exile 2, I think. They released that 0.31 patch because it was only a month in or 3 weeks, whatever. So they released it. Everything else is being saved for 0.4, so it can be big, it can be hype, a bunch of players can come back to the game. They can release supporter packs, they can release the mystery boxes. I know you're saying it's not ready for that, but it's a release game. Like it is a sucky thing to debate because I get what you're saying, but that is not they are just treating it like it's fully released at this point, right?
I don't even mind them doing that.
Yeah.
I don't even mind them doing that. Like the thing is, you can have and save all the new features and stuff for like the big patches, but I think that they just need to do a little bit more frequent like balance changes in the middle, like buffing certain unused skills, tweaking, like you said, tweaking some numbers here and there. That's all it would be, like tweaking numbers and fixing bugs. But then the big content is for the big patches.
But then Path of Exile players, they're crazy. The cool stuff
Yeah.
isn't even the content. It's the
Exactly.
holy crap. Oh my God, Lightning Arrow got a 13% nerf in damage. Guys, the meta's changed forever. Right? That's what people freak out about. Like if you watch Dreamcore's videos, great example. He is going over like, you know, the most minute balance changes, you know, some uniques that have very niche interactions. People love this. They love this. This is what core Path of Exile players live for. Maybe not newer Path of Exile players. Maybe they're just in it for the content. But for a lot of them, I swear, going through that crap, going through the 20,000 lines of patch notes on patch day, that is the hype thing. Not the, oh my gosh, they just added Act 5. Oh my goodness, they just added a Druid. They're going to be reading through all the skill gem changes and theorizing over that for the next long while. I think GGG has kind of realized that. Like that's their bread and butter. That's why they make it such a show, right? And that's why the patch notes are so obsessed over by everybody for a week or 2 weeks. And when that patch came out last night for Path of Exile 1, every single Twitch stream, people are going line by line in the patch notes, talking about all the repercussions for hours and hours. That's not for me personally, but I know it's for a lot of Path of Exile players. That is what they enjoy most about the game. I'm just heavily speculating and trying to think of what might be going on their end. So,
well, we talked about it earlier. I think the biggest thing is that they had to do some form of like not a reset, but like the gap between the leagues was not the perfect 2-month cycle that they wanted. They either needed to release one of them a little bit early, like they're doing with the POE 2 league, or they had to release one of them like extra late to compensate otherwise. So there was gonna have to be a weird micro adjustment at some point. We talked about this last week, I think, and I think releasing this league before Christmas makes sense if it's ready.
I think it's ready.
If it's ready.
I think it's ready. They're totally gonna.
I hope so.
Oh, I'm sure they're just gonna cut crap. You know, like Act 5, no Act 5.
But I would almost. Well, I don't think any new act's coming, but like. I don't know. Maybe I just have a different mind of it. I guess I just have a very different mind of it. I am okay with them delaying if it meant we got more stuff and the league was in a better state. But there's plenty of players. I see more people who are of the Jonathan mindset of like in his last interview, he said, you know, from now on, we're just like, if we're going to cut stuff if we're not going to make it. And that's just it. That's the world we're going to live in. That I'm okay giving them more time to get the league as good as possible in early access. But it seems like I'm very much in the minority there, that they're okay. Like people just want the league out as always, and they don't care otherwise. I don't know. I'm only so I consider myself only a POE 2 player at this point. I'm not going to be going into. I'm going to assume most POE 1 leagues I'm going to be skipping especially once POE 2 is on a full on cycle. Even with someone who's not playing both games, I am okay with like a little extra time to develop the game. But there's some people who really are ARPG fiends and they want that game every 2 months. So.
Yeah, I think you're one of the rare ones. I think most people will want the 4-month cycle. They want updates. They want to play the game more.
I want that by launch, but I don't think,
No, I think even now
we're in early access still.
Even now.
Oh yeah, I know I'm definitely in the minority there.
I think it's partly again like they are treating it like a full release, so the players are treating it like a full release. But on all honesty, right? If you're talking about the amount of content that's in a game, there would be companies that would call this game a full release game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's got way
this game has more than
D4
did on launch for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. Might even have more than D4 right now.
Ooh, wow, guys, we left that in the beginning. What is going on? Come on. No shots. Yeah, and a lot of people with the content in game right now, I mean, don't even finish it, right? I think a lot of people probably listening to this, us, right? You guys run through, you finish the content. Man, I finished it this time. In 01, 02, I finished like my Atlas fully, which is cool. But it took me a stupid amount of time to do on one character. When it's as big as Path of Exile 1, or I really just Path of Exile 1, when it has all these different bosses and mechanics to interact with, I can see like the playtime be extended so far out for a lot of people, especially not only the extra endgame systems, but all these cool new skills that some people are very excited for, like the Druid. Like I've been if it is bad, guys, I'm probably going to be depressed. So don't tune into my stream if Druid ends up sucking, because I'm going to be so sad.
I think, Yeah, it's interesting. The game is in a really good spot. We get comments every week on the podcast of someone saying, "I'm just now getting to red maps." Like there are a lot of people like I don't want to call them casuals, but they are the average player base. Like they are the normies. Like they like it is not normal for someone like me to have 10 plus characters. Or someone like Miso who has like 5 to 6 characters. I don't know how many you have, Miso. You probably have more than
I
5
have
or
like
6.
3
I don't
or
know.
4, I think.
Or 3 or 4. Like even that is not normal. Like, the average player probably gets one character, 2 yellow maps, and then quits right now because there's really not much to push into after that right now. I talk about it every week. The biggest reason I want the 0.4 is because 0.3 is the same patch as 0.1 in my head in a lot of ways. We're playing the exact same game we were playing a year ago. It's just gotten some quality of life.
Really? Go into that. I haven't heard this.
The endgame loop, I think, is what Cal's
saying. The endgame loop.
The endgame loop of mapping and doing the content. The content's all
pretty
the same. In terms of like the endgame mapping, it's like they added Abyss, they added the those bosses like Jade Isles, and everything else is the same. They added crafting. What?
Was 0.2 different? You're saying the same as 0.1. What was
0.2 only added Wisp, really.
Right, I know. It was okay.
That wasn't a content change.
But the actual
so the end game loop has been the exact same for players like us for about a year. The only reason we've been able to play so much is because of just all the build crafting going on, because like there's not many people doing it.
Right.
Yeah, there was something new to explore with crafting, but that's not really content.
Yeah. Well, guess what, guy? And what are they focusing on for 0.4? But from their own mouth, end game, guys.
That's why I'm like. That's why I have the mindset of if it's delayed, it's okay, because I really need that end game rework to just like. I want it to because I don't want to re-roll. I want to sit on one character for a month, just one character, and just
that's the way, bro.
Thick as possible. I want to do what King Kongor did and just sit on that warrior and like. Craft it as well as I can, and I have not had that urge in this game yet. Like we talk about wearing builds like underwear, we're changing them every day, and I don't want that. I want to really give a character a good haul, and we don't have that at all.
Be really curious to see what they're going to do there. What would please you guys with an end game loop? Is it just having bigger challenges for your characters to face, so more scaling of regular maps? Are you talking about kind of a boss progression loop, kind of like what we have in Path of Exile 1 or even in Last Epoch, where you have the regular boss set and then you have the Uber bosses? Because honestly, right now, Uber Arbiter, I killed Uber Arbiter. I have crap gear, okay? I do not have anything maxed out. I can kill Uber Arbiter. I can kill all the Ubers. Are you looking for that next tier of bosses, or what do you guys think would really satisfy you? Is it something just completely different, like a washing away of the Infinite Atlas? I'm curious.
I think like Path of Exile 2 is a little bit different than Path of Exile 1, because Path of Exile 1, I think there is like a lot of scaling to do with just mapping. And I mean, there's also scaling with bosses, right? But I think in Path of Exile 2, there's a little bit more emphasis on like the bossing side of things. So I think like having those more difficult bosses might be something that for me is the thing that I'm looking for the most. Of course, I would like them to scale mapping as well and making it more rewarding. But I think that scaling the end game content, making more pinnacle bosses, more challenging fights, things that actually make me want to push my gear further, that's really exciting for me. Like, for example, in POE 1 right now, I've been playing on my Flicker Strike character since the beginning of the league right now. I haven't swapped once, and I'm still not even close to the ceiling of the build. Like, I still want to keep pushing. I haven't done all the pinnacle bosses. I mean, of course, I'm like slower than like your experienced Path of Exile 1 like player who's been playing leagues after league after league since the beginning. But I've been having a good time just pushing my character to the end game. And I feel like if it was a Path of Exile 2, I would have hit the ceiling a long time ago and swapped builds maybe like half a week ago.
I think you mentioned in one of your recent videos, Mitsu, that I just hit level 90 in Path of Exile 1. In Path of Exile 2, I probably would have been pretty much at the ceiling of my build. But in Path of Exile 1,
that's early end game, baby.
Stop 1. Yeah, that's early end game.
End game.
Let's go. Yeah, we got all these different vectors to scale your character. And even I do not min-max at all. But I realize this as well. And it's cool, right? Just casually, like, what did I finally do? Well, this is embarrassing. God, I didn't have my amulet anointed until yesterday. Oh my God. Oh, what am I doing with my life? Seriously. But then I also I re-rolled like all of my flasks to be pretty much perfect now. So I'm invulnerable in maps essentially thanks to this flask reroll and everything. And then I looked at my tree. I optimized a few paths. I have this oh gosh, what is it, the leaping jewel that you get from
Intuitive
Cirrus.
leap
I can't
or something.
not intuitive, thread of hope,
Oh,
thread of
thread of
hope,
hope.
that one. Yeah, so I got a new thread of hope and I can access all these different paths. It's like there's all these different vectors. I know it sounds complicated, guys. I am not that smart. You just play it. It's like work, right? I hate watching people do work, but once you actually experience it yourself, oh, you understand it. It clicks. I know this all sounds like gobbledygook, but man, I can just do this with my mind off. It's so freaking weird, right? Last night, I was just playing at like 12 a.m. and I was just doing all these optimizations on my character. And I was just listening to Chapel Roan like blast out, about some crazy, I can't repeat it on Twitch, but some songs. And I wasn't even thinking. And it's just cool. I like it. I like that sort of stuff. And I do have to think a lot more in Path of Exile 2, I feel, but it's more to do with the gameplay. Like with Path of Exile 1, I have mind off gameplay. I really would love for Path of Exile 2 to have a little bit more just basic build craft in the skill tree, in what skills you're using and how you interact, like some of the unique items. It just seems like it's such a linear path right now. And it doesn't like keep going. Like you guys have said, it just stops. Like it's not that cool.
Yeah,
so,
you can
even I experienced that.
The best build's one shot Uber Arbiter like very early on, and that's not good. You hit the damage ceiling for like what you need for bosses like just way too easily for a lot of builds, and from there it's just optimizing defenses, and there's not anything that like you really need to optimize your defenses around too heavily around right now. Obviously, like if you're doing Juice Delirium maps, you need to be tanky, but I don't know. The thing for me right now is like obviously bossing is huge, but I don't know. I just want Delve. I like Delve is just for the kind of the way I play the game. I like defensive oriented builds, and there's just no content in the game that I guess Simulacrum doing like tier 3 semi runs. Like you kind of have to build tanky, but you don't really have the reward from it, so that kind of sucks.
How about tanking the Uber Arbiter booms? That's got to be hard, right? Is that not that hard?
There's not like a reward structure for it. It's like I can take it. So what? Does that mean I get more rewards? No.
Got it. Okay.
And that's the problem. There's like there is the ceiling content. Like if you Uber juice out like your bosses with wisps and like all these things, it will become an absolute machine. But then like you kill it, you get a chaos orb.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you see the shark stuff that Farmer was doing?
I did. So
like
it was great.
Like it's cool that you can do that, but there's no extra reward for doing that kind of stuff. So it's just like we need more ways to achieve that level of difficulty that is designed in the game intentionally with reward structure around them. And there's not that. Like we literally I don't even know what you would compare the current end game of PoE 2 to like where it's at in PoE 1. Like maybe early tier 16s, and early tier 16s in PoE 1 is nothing of the end game. Like I don't even know
it's
PoE 2 is missing so much depth right now. We just need those first layers of depth.
It's like Path of Exile 1 Shaper era. I wasn't around during that, like I've just read about it, but it's like Path of Exile 1 just had, I think it was just the Shaper as the pinnacle, and that's it. It was a pretty base level Atlas. It had 4 bosses: the Guardian of the Phoenix, Minotaur, blah blah blah, and then the Shaper. I probably equate that to kind of where Path of Exile 2 is at right now, which
I think so.
I mean, it makes sense because it's a young game. I think just a lot of people had more expectations on the end game going into it, and it just ended up faltering a little bit. So,
I mean, I don't think any of us are like unhappy with the state of the game. We're all, we think the game is great.
I love it. I can see where people have issues. I honestly, guys, I don't experience a lot of the issues that I talk to you guys about, or like I see people chatting about. I don't. Because what did I do? I played one character all the way through to the Ubers in PoE 2, or to the Uber in PoE 2, and I had a great time. I loved Abyss. I like the Atlas progression. I was pretty much fine with it. The only bad thing is stupid Citadels. The RNG, guys, hundreds of Waystones, way out in the Atlas. One
so
set
funny.
of Citadels. What's going on? I got
Every
so
single league I've had like no issue ever finding Citadels.
Oh, get out of here!
People
You
crying.
suck. That was the only thing that really upset me, but everything else, I really enjoyed it. Like, I played this for a tremendous amount of time. I pushed my character like off stream and everything. Lots of my friends really enjoyed it too. I had a great time with it. But I do understand where, some of the failings are coming in from. And GGG does too, which is why, man, a lot is, can you imagine if like people don't like what GGG do? Like, GGG very often misses, okay? And I feel like a lot of people are in agreement that the tower system was a miss. And the Infinite Atlas is kind of a miss. Man, I think this is going to be a win. Like, they've gone into the laboratory and they've concocted the perfect end game for Path of Exile 2, and they're waiting to unveil it into the world. It's going to be so interesting. Do you think they'll keep the Infinite Atlas, you guys? Or do you think they're going to
I think so.
You think
I think they've been pretty adamant about it.
I think people overthink the Infinite Atlas in like a lot of really negative ways. I think it can be iterated on to be a lot better. I think there's a lot of ways you can work favored maps into this system, to where you're able to choose your locations a lot easier, whether it's based off the terrain or something, or just through currencies that reroll the location. But I feel like just the structure of it, there's no way they're getting rid of it. Like, they're going to want the art. Like, I don't know. I like it. I don't have a problem with the Atlas. I like the, in my solo self-found run that I've been doing, I just went over, like, once you know how to navigate the Atlas, like, I needed Rakiata's Flow. So I just, like, if you know how to get Rakiata's Flow, it only spawns along water. So you just follow rivers and waters, and eventually you're going to find lots of Jade Isles. And, like, as long as GGG keeps making it more easy to find stuff like that, like, I think it's fun. Like,
here's bosses like more scaling. That's what you guys are kind of looking for your characters. As a resident non-scaler, the 4.5 minute Uber Arbiter checking in, guys. It was a great fight. What I would be looking for with the Endgame update is, what's the proper game design term? Not a checklist, but like things that you complete. You have like checkpoints going through your Atlas progression, right? Right now, it's so bland and boring with the corrupted nexuses and how you're finding those and getting points for your Atlas skill tree, and then you go and spend it in your Atlas skill tree, and it doesn't really make any effect, I swear, on the gameplay. I don't feel the effect. I want that Atlas tree to actually have an effect on your gameplay experience in the Atlas. I want you to feel it. When you allocate those first 2 points or 4 points, it should make a sizable impact on what you're doing in the Atlas. Maybe even make a visible impact on the Atlas itself. Just, there's no feedback. Like, it's like you're aimlessly going toward, what is it first? Arbiter.
Nope. I think we lost him. We lost him.
You lost?
As a goal.
Nope.
Who'd you lose? I'm back?
Yep, you're back.
Yeah,
you're back.
I'm back. Cool. Lit. Okay. I was saying, on your way to Arbiter, you don't have those checkpoints that you're hitting and you're feeling like you're making this cool progress, right? It's kind of just like a quick cascade. You're going out from the center of the Atlas. You're getting points on your Atlas tree that you don't really feel them making any impact. You're going out, you find citadels. Oh, you find your 3 citadels. Boom, boom, boom. Arbiter, right? I want it to feel like more of a journey. I want the exploration to have like a visible impact on my gameplay. I just don't feel like it does right now. And you're kind of just aimlessly going out to find the Arbiter, and you're finding these corrupted nexuses, and it's not really improving your experience. That's just the way I feel.
I feel it. And I actually made a video talking about this, that our Atlas is really just not very impactful, and I would like it to be more impactful. So the exact same thing as what you're saying. But I would also argue that in Path of Exile 1, you're not really getting that much value off your first couple points either. Like, especially at the beginning, all you're doing is Kirax anyways, right? You barely feel that. So it's not like you're seeing a visible change in your gameplay until you actually fill out your entire Atlas, right?
Here is my, I'm going to counterattack. All right.
All right.
Here we go. Counterattack. True. Kind of. Okay. Because when you go in Path of Exile 1, the moment you step into maps, all this different content has a chance to spawn as opposed to the campaign instantly, because it's such a, like, it's, what do people call it? It's a bloated game, right? It has like 20 different things that can spawn in your very first map that maybe you encountered once or twice in the campaign.
Well,
so it already has that visceral change. I don't really feel that with Path of Exile.
We got the change in the middle of the league. Remember, our game does that now too. You can every map has a chance of spawning and the league mechanics now. So it does have that change now. So maybe next patch we might feel something different.
Might feel different.
But I think the biggest difference for me between the Atlas in Path of Exile 1 and the Atlas in Path of Exile 2 is that every single map you do gives you progression. At the beginning of Path of Exile 1, hitting maps, every single map you do gives you an Atlas point. Like if you haven't done that map before, it's an Atlas point, right? And then every time you're like, oh, okay, now I'm progressing. Now I get more points. Now I'm getting more towards this. But then in Path of Exile 2, you have to look for those corrupted nexuses. And then it's like, you got to progress towards it. Got to walk towards it. You got to go through like 7 or 8 maps of like no progression to hit that final 1 Atlas point. And
oh my God, you're so right.
And then if you fail it, then you don't even get the Atlas point. And then you got to look for another corrupted nexus. So that's the thing I think like that is really nice about Path of Exile 1 that I actually just thought about, is that like the moment you hit the end game, you're progressing. Every single map is progression. Like every single map.
I couldn't disagree more. I don't feel that vibe. Like obviously doing the checklist of all the maps is like a list of things you have to do, but I fucking hate it. I hate having to do every single map once in PoE 1. No, I'm not saying that hunting the corruption zones is great, but I don't like love the PoE 1 system. I don't love having to do every map once. Like,
I mean,
it doesn't get me excited.
I don't love it either, but it's that sense of progression. It's like that's the thing that is missing. It's like how you get the progression is whatever, right? That's something else to decide upon. But it's just like the nice thing about PoE 1 is that the moment you get into endgame, every map you do, it's progression. Whereas that's not the case in PoE 2. It's just, again, you're trying to go towards those nexuses.
I don't feel that. Like, what do you mean by no progression? I'm going into a map for experience. I'm going into a map for loot.
But you still get that in
I'm going into a map because I'm trying to get to the next citadel. Like,
well, you're not doing that at the beginning.
I don't need some like ooga monkey brain checklist that makes me want to go into.
No, hey, come on,
a lot of people like it.
The Atlas tree fucking sucks in PoE 2. The Atlas tree is awful. I think I talked about a few weeks ago how I feel like the Atlas tree is what needs the next overhaul completely. That whole system is awful, but like I don't need.
You might not need it, but
individual
it's nice.
checklist for that first
a lot of people like
set of maps, but it just goes away really quick. There's other endgame systems that I want to
like, that might be someone's entire league, though. You might like want to complete all the maps now. Like I am, Miso. You have read me. Like I'm thinking in my brain. I'm like, oh, it's like the meme. It's the monkey see banana neuron activated. When that little you just got another bonus point from completing a new map. Oh my God, that's exactly what it is. I'm so simple. Oh my God.
But no, it's not even just you. It's if you think about it today, and there was this conversation like a week ago talking about how like indie games are like completely beating out AAAs right now. But like a lot of it is the most successful games right now are just like you get in there, you hop into the gameplay, no bullshit story, no nothing. You go in there, you progress, you make the numbers go bigger, bigger, bigger. Every single round you play, you're progressing, right? Those are all the popular games right now. Ball X Pit or like was it Mega Bonk or Arc Raiders. You go in, you're finding loot every corner of the place you go. Like all these games are like just feedback, constant feedback loop of like giving the player progression higher number, and that is at the very end of the day, maybe you might say you don't need it, but people love that type of stuff. People are driven by it.
This is not like I don't understand the point. That's like I don't need that map checklist though at the initial entry.
Well, again, I think you're getting
stuck
on the map checklist. I'm just saying that you want to have that level of like just feeling like you're progressing every single map, because at the end of the day, the level progression is like you're not leveling every single map. You don't get the ding. I get a point every single map, right? When you're in Path of Exile, it's like after maybe 5 maps or something, like 2 or 3 maps, you get a level or something, and then you get the boost. But again, in Path of Exile 1, it's every single map You just get something. You get something. And it's like, without it, it's like, are you going to get better loot? I don't know. Probably not. You're probably not going to get
it sounds like you just got TikTok brain to me. Like,
but it's not.
I just want to hit maps and I level my character and I get more gear and I get more currency. Like, yes,
but that's everybody though.
Systems and POE I understand is bad, but like, I don't need this initial checklist of like doing things. I just need more content that I'm actively working towards.
You need to stop looking at it from your perspective, because you're not everybody. The majority of the players.
But I can only talk about my perspective, so I'm arguing my perspective. I don't need like. There's plenty of people I agree with my perspective.
Would it be bad?
Need this.
Would it be bad?
Would it be bad? Like,
to add this, like, is there a net negative for adding like more progression?
I think if we're talking about copy pasting the POE 1 map system to POE 2,
I'm just saying, like, giving us some sort of like, what I was saying is like, the nice thing about Path of Exile 1 is every single map you're getting like a point of progression, right? I'm not saying that you need to have it be checklist of maps. I'm not saying that you need to do X, Y, or Z to do it, but just having the thing where it's like something where it feels like I'm progressing every single map is very nice.
Well, that's kind of how the Atlas is set up right now, with like, you have to collect, if you want to finish your breach part of the passives, you got to do like breach stuff and collect all your breach stuff and work towards that. Like, yeah, yes, it's nice when you initially hit maps and you do every map, you get that +1, but you clear that out really quick. So like, what is it like?
That's
a little less than 100 maps.
Not me, bro. That is like my progression. That is like that's the thing though. So I think here's the two like types, like people with your perspective, Cal. I think you're okay. Like, one thing you didn't even know about, like the challenges in Path of Exile 1, right? There's a whole sect of people that is what they do. They go, they get the challenges. Oh my gosh, that's the focus. You know, it's a checklist sort of thing, right? I think a lot of people are really oriented like that, where they like to complete these things. And once they have that completion in their heads, they're kind of done. So, for example, when I get all of my maps done on my Atlas and I get the challenges that I want in Path of Exile 1, I'm kind of done for the league. I don't want to push my character to be able to one-shot Uber Shaper or even fight the Ubers or do all this stuff. But there are a lot of players who love to do that, right? That's a lot of people play ARPGs just for that, the constant progress. And I think
those things are fine, but
yeah. Right. I think there's a whole bunch of different, that's what I'm saying. There's a whole bunch of different things that can all coexist in the game.
Yeah, we just need more content. We don't necessarily need initially getting something that's immediately sending us all of this rewards right away, because that's what mapping is.
Don't need
that's
it.
what leveling your character through maps.
Hear me out though.
I think that's just Cal. TikTok brain.
Okay. No. I hate TikTok, dude. Never going on my child's phones. Never. They're not even gonna have phones. Okay, maybe when they're like 16. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna try. Flip phones. Okay, so hear me out, dude. Okay, so Path of Exile 2, Infinite Atlas. Instead of Corrupted Nexus, okay, maybe Corrupted Nexuses give you like 1 or 2 passive points, okay, for your Atlas.
Well, I think the Nexus shit is shit, by the way.
Okay, then kill it. Never mind. It's killed with fire. Now, instead, for every map on the Atlas, okay, we've got like 100 different biome types. You got to hunt them down. It forces you to explore, like actual exploration. Like, okay, I just did oh wow, I'm forgetting the map names already. This is really bad. The Forge map, 1 Atlas point. Okay. Oh, I can go left, I can go right. There's another Forge map that leads down this path. Oh, but there's a Woodland map instead. Ooh, that's another Atlas point. Ooh, Woodland map. And like, you got to go across the Atlas to get all of your Atlas points by doing each of these maps once. I think that's kind of cool, right? It incentivizes exploration, and it gives that immediate feedback loop. You know, my TikTok brain loves that so much. Miso, you have explained me. I see that is my number go up thing. I literally love that. You're so right, and I understand, Cal, how you just don't care. Like it couldn't matter. Like, you're doing the map to make your character more powerful, progress to next map, essentially. But I totally love that extra little layer, because what if I don't get anything to make my character powerful? Oh, at least I got this little point. And that's like a goal for me to set out, like, okay, I'm going to do this for my account this league. I'm going to get 115 out of 115 Atlas points, complete all the invitations, all the maps, all this stuff. That's cool. It's like a goal that you can set for yourself. I think a lot of people struggle with like setting their own goals sometimes. So when there's goals in games like this outline that are so clear, and they give feedback directly to the players, it helps a lot of people not feel so aimless. Another great example, sorry, I'm yapping a lot. Another great example is I've always pushed GGG, like, in my Discord messages, I'm like, hey guys, you should add a cosmetic reward for everybody who kills Arbiter of Ash. I bet it will cause a lot of people to push themselves to the end game and really, really try to beat it out this league and, test out a wider variety of the content and maybe push their build and maybe push them like over the edge to find, oh, I actually love this part of the game, all that stuff. A lot of people love that sort of stuff. Like they eat it up. So I think that existing in the game is a pure
I like
W.
goals and I like challenges and I like things like that. To be exactly as clear as I can be, I do not like the way it works in PoE 1 maps.
Got it.
Because I do not need I don't feel the need to do each map once because I just want to do the maps, that is not like a checklist I need. I just don't like that implementation of it.
Interesting.
Of course, I want to get rewards from every maps. I think the Atlas in PoE 2 is awful. It needs a complete rework. I hate it. Not just the corruption points getting it, but like the Atlas does not feel impactful at all. Like at all. You're just juicing tablets and waystones. Like that's all you want to do. It's so boring.
I can see it now, Cal. Hi, I'm Mark Roberts from Grinding Your Games. We're adding Atlas passive points to each new completed map. Atlas of Atlas. That's it. Well, I can imagine.
It would not work in this. It would require a lot of changes for it to work in this game.
I think it could just work. Literally, they could remove the nexuses, and then every unique map that you complete, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. So you literally do exactly what I was saying, where you're incentivized to go from a desert to a grassland to a aquatic to get all those.
Yeah, but then you would need like reroll locations or something like that.
No, you gotta go further. You just gotta keep exploring.
RNG would be too bad for some people. Like the reason it works in PoE 1 is because like you can either in Trade League you trade for maps, or in Solo Self-Found, was it Orbs of Horizons? What is it?
I only needed to trade for one map for this Atlas run. I'm so proud of myself.
I don't think I did any trading for my maps.
Let's go.
I think I did trading for unique maps. I think that's it.
Also, tip for PoE 1 players out there, and I should have known this. I was using my Kirak reroll mission things on yellow maps, and they were re-rolling to maps I hadn't completed, and I was doing them. And I'm like, why isn't it completing these maps? I haven't done the bonus. And it's because they were natural red tier maps. And you gotta, if they're natural red tier, they will re-roll as Kirak yellow tier maps. But you gotta do them as natural red corrupted rare. So I wasted like 15 of those Kirak things before I realized, like a total idiot. So cool stuff.
What would Miso? What would be what you would like? What is it you would change about the PoE 2 mapping that gets it more in line with how you're feeling in PoE 1?
Well, I think like here, I was actually so the whole thing about like the progression every map was not even like my main point about that. It was just a tangent. It was just like I just realized in my head right there that like that is like a really nice thing to have, right? But like I think like for me right now, it's like as you guys are saying, and I said this in the video, but if you overnight somebody logs into my account, right, and just remove every single Atlas point off my tree, I would not notice. I would not notice. I would not notice. So it's like they're just not impactful enough. And the main reason for that is
you mean?
Yeah, in PoE 2. The main reason for that is because everything on the Atlas that is noticeable, shrines, strong boxes, rogue exiles, wisps, essences, they all suck. They all suck. Like they don't give you money. They don't give you anything. Like nobody puts them in there because it's just way more rewarding to juice pack size, rarity, quantity, tablet effectiveness, right? And that's an issue. And if they made those more impactful, then everybody would have more of a reason to actually path towards those things and not just focus on those intangible things of like quantity and pack size and rarity and stuff. Like if they made them better, that would be great. And also maybe what it is just instead of starting us off on these like, because like you have to kind of work your way out to actually even get to those, maybe putting those closer to the center where it's like having every like, because in Path of Exile 1, it's like you have like these travel nodes where it increases like your scarabs drop rate, right? But then like sprinkled within those travel nodes, much like the regular passive tree, you have a little cluster over here that's like, oh, this is a ritual cluster or whatever, right? So it's like instead of making me have to path out so far to start getting to some of these more impactful things, try to sprinkle them into the middle to actually let us have more of an impact early on would be great. Of course, again, making them more impactful. The other thing is that, and it's another thing that just came to mind, is that because of the way that the Atlas works in Path of Exile 1, you can actually start getting stuff for the ritual, your rituals earlier on. For Path of Exile 2, you need to go and kill King of the Mist to actually start getting effects onto your league mechanics, which are often the fun parts of the actual gameplay, and that's where you get your money, right? But in Path of Exile 1, you don't have to interact with those at all, and as you're just going through your Atlas progression, you are slowly able to pick up a little bit of these passives. Of course, most people again focus on Curak at the beginning anyways, but theoretically, if you wanted to, you could start specking towards rituals even as you're just like leveling through maps without having to get to that point of like, oh, I finally got the 100 splinters, I need to make sure my character is one, strong enough to kill it, and then also again get those splinters from the rituals.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put any like of the boss stuff onto the main Atlas tree. Like they're just completely separated.
Well,
like
I mean,
there's no.
I think it's actually nice that they're a little separated because it does make it a little bit more confusing when it isn't separated. Like it makes the tree
You can't be both though. Like you can't have like the separate tree as well as like little nodes that like there's like it would be nice if like there was like because in that POE 1 Atlas tree, there's the nodes there's like you have a 15% chance to see this encounter in the map now. Like having those on the Atlas tree would be nice, so you can like force those to spawn more, but there's nothing.
I mean, there's definitely different ways to
all.
implement it, but I actually don't I don't actually hate having separate trees because I do find that having that big tree can be very daunting for people. Like
that's understandable.
It's literally just another passive skill tree, and people are already daunted at the first one. So now you add in a second one, and you're just like, oh, what do I do?
Does the first boss attempt need to be free? Like we need to get into the first one easier?
It's pretty easy now, isn't it? What is it, like 50?
I'm not sure. I don't have an issue getting through all of it. I don't know for the casual player if they have trouble getting the first 50 for each one, because right now, like I would imagine with the tablet changes, it's a little annoying getting a like 50, then 100, then 150 splinters without trading, but I have no idea.
Yeah. I think again, it's just at the baseline, it takes too long to actually. Well, one, the tree itself, the things that are supposed to be impactful, the Rogue Exiles, Wisps, whatever, aren't impactful because
they suck.
And then two, it takes it would be nice if we could get those a little bit earlier on too.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that the tree sees some changes. I also, while you were talking there, Miso, I was thinking about a lot of the nodes not very impactful on the actual waystones. We have this cool Infinite Atlas thing, right? I am still the mindset that in some way we should be able to shake up the actual map itself. And a big reason I don't think we can actually edit the map is because it's that seeded map that's generated at the start of your playthrough. Because I was thinking in my head, oh, what if you could allocate nodes on your Atlas tree that cause you to see citadels like 33% more of the time? Oh my gosh, that would be insane if there was a wheel that added that. But I don't think they can probably do that with the initial implementation, the current implementation. You think they can?
Because what they did was, remember when they did the Citadel changes in the middle of the league? It's not like we had.
It's just a number tweak.
That's true. That's
true. As long as it's beyond the fog of war.
Unfogged.
Yeah, it's fine. It gets generated as you go out.
So I think that would be cool if there would be wheels on the Atlas tree where you could shake up the actual tree, like
it's like a terraforming wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, screw it, it's not on the main tree. You unlock the terraforming tree when you kill the Arbiter of Ash. Oh, that sounds pretty damn cool, actually. Also, lore correct as well. So
yeah.
I think that would be interesting. Ooh, I wonder if that's what they're gonna do, because Cal, you're not gonna like this. I've Last Epoch does like the mono system with like basically the tiny timelines. So they're essentially really small atlas atlas tree, like atlas whatever, infinite atlases. So I've always thought, oh, what if we could just shrink down the infinite atlas by a great degree, and you could like complete one infinite atlas and then you'd be a bridge to the next one. And maybe you could add like almost like a roguelike. You could choose a whole bunch of different selections for that next atlas based on what you completed in this prior atlas. Like, okay, you're going to see 15% more iron citadels, or this map type will be more prevalent, or every single map will have a boss on this infinite atlas, or something, or a very powerful boss on this infinite atlas. Something like that would be kind of interesting, because I'm just trying to think of a way that they can really shake up the end game, because I think there's only so much they can do with their current implementation. I feel like they have to do something really radical to kind of change people's perceptions and really excite people about this new end game that they've been talking about for honestly since 0.2. I think they said, oh yeah, we're going to do that in 0.4. We have the focus for 0.3. 0.4 is going to be the end game shakeup. So I think they've had to be cooking, racking my
I have
brain.
no idea. I think mapping is like the worst part of the game in terms of the end game loop. Like mapping is a means to an end. It's not like no one except for like Dead Rabbit with his like super juice 400% rarity and like the team farmers are like only doing maps. Most people like want to like go and do bossing or go and do the only content they like to
I
do.
think that's
And
the opposite.
that
I think most people want mapping to be fun, but the thing is, it's not
that's what
fun
I'm
because it's
saying.
not rewarding. It's
That's
not
what I'm saying.
rewarding.
Like mapping needs a complete overhaul, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
mapping needs love. Like people want it to be good, and it's not. It's in a really bad state. Like mapping is just what you do to do something else. And you know what? Like I want mapping to be like really fun. And I don't know.
It's just the
Like
rewards
that.
at the end of the day. It's the rewards. Mapping does not give you rewards. Like even if you juice max rarity, whatever, right? At max rarity quantity, it's still not as good as farming like Sekimas. It's still not as good as farming like Citadels. It's still not as good as
Yeah.
farming these other methods that, give you money. Of course, it's better than like, I don't know, Uber boss farming. Well, actually,
I
Zesh
honestly
is
think the
pretty good
RNG
too.
of maps is a lot of it for me though. Like they're just like sometimes I get demotivated because there's not a string of maps I want to do. And I don't know if it like we talk about the terraforming thing a lot. Like, is there going to be a way we can ever reroll maps and something? But
Right.
I don't know. Like, anytime I book, like, we need like big system changes. Like, if I could, like, if whenever I
Right.
say I did like a week of mapping. And then I was able to like flag all of my favorite maps. Like I had like a list of like these are the 50 fortresses I've passed, and or like a hot search for them, so it's easier to find the maps I want to do. That would help a lot, but I don't know. Like I just can't get myself hyped up for mapping. Like even if I have like all the maps prepared and stuff, like
That's another thing,
I don't
right?
know.
Preparing maps is like so tedious. Like,
Yeah.
and the nice thing about Path of Exile 1 is that there are a lot of really good strategies that are just out and go strategies.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do much and just out and go, and then you can still get a good amount of money. But then if you want a map in Path of Exile 2, it's like you need to have rarity, you need to have your tablets, and then you need to set up your maps. And then other than that, you're not gonna be. I know. Try you don't really do that as much in Path of Exile 2,
I know.
but
I'm
if
just
you're
laughing. I know.
if you're trying to actually get value out of your maps and trying to get like loot and like progression, like you kind of need to do that at the end game in order to actually be able to get like meaningful progression. Because like it's unfortunate, but if you don't do it, the economy leaves you behind. If you
I have a
don't do it, the
question.
economy leaves you behind.
You two have been playing a lot of PoE one.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on the 6 portal versus 1 portal stuff?
I
How
mean,
much of it do
Ooh.
you think it impacts the mapping experience right now?
Massive.
Because like
yeah.
if you're doing a big
massive.
juiced map in PoE 1 and you
Yeah.
die, that is like the most that's like it's not just losing the experience at that point. You
Or
were
PoE 2, you
losing
mean?
so much. PoE 2, excuse me, yeah. Like in PoE
Yeah.
2 with the one map deaths, like you like only can have a build that can do those. But even watching like, again, Dead Rabbit with his like super juiced blood mages and stuff with tech rods, like he'll randomly die to some stuff and like is the 1 portal a problem? I personally feel like I still like it, but I'm curious how you two feel after grinding so much PoE 1.
It's for me, it's just two, like I've said a few times, it's just two very different games. Even though a lot of people are saying, oh, they're colliding, they're getting closer and closer together, they still feel quite dissimilar to me. And that's one of the big differentiating factors. It's the fact that in Endgame, like I said, I just turn my brain off and I'm just going, I'm not really focusing. Oh, I died. Okay, well, I just go back in. I got 5 more portals. Oh, I died again. It's not a big deal. I got 4 more portals. There's no way I'm going to die 4 more times. And I really don't. I make sure all my defenses are in order. I can just chill, turn my brain off. In Path of Exile 2, I mean, I know I don't prepare my maps, but I still don't want to lose XP, and I don't want to have to do my map without any access to tablets. So when I walk in and I've fully juiced that map by adding all the modifiers I can to it, I've got 1 portal. I am locked in. I am back straight. I'm looking at the screen. No other focus. No YouTube. No Chapel Roan playing in the background. I'm just playing POE 2. So I don't know. There's 2 different vibes. I'm fine with both. They're very different though. And I can see why people who don't want to have to focus, who want to have, a movie or something, or not pay attention and still get rewards and play to the maximum in PoE 2 are pissed with the current setup. But I like the risk reward ratio. I think that's one of the big differentiating factors. That's one of the things that I've noticed quite a bit is Path of Exile 2, in addition to like all the drawbacks, the drawback meme, there's a lot more risk reward stuff. Like sprinting is another thing, right? Sprinting is huge risk, massive reward if you do it properly. I like that. It engages me a lot more when I'm playing. But can't turn my mind off, which sucks sometimes when I want to. So,
personally, I think the problem with the 1 portal thing is not as much as risk reward. Sorry. It's that when you die, it feels so bad because you have to run that map to get to the next Atlas point. But at the same time, that map you cannot juice with your tablets or anything. Everything's gone. And then you just have to like at some point, I know people who just sack random maps into those and just do them, like, because they're not going to run a tier 15 on it because they're like, there's no point. Right. Like, I'm not going to really get anything. I don't have like my tablets. I don't have anything. Right. So I think like it's not as much about a risk reward at that point. It's just more like it feels really bad when you die because you know that you had to run it like unjuiced.
There's so many things stacked up, right? You have minus 10% XP, all tablets missing. If it had a powerful map boss on it, that's gone now too. I think there's just so many factors at play that like maybe loosen up it a little bit. Do you think if it didn't remove the ability to use tablets, would that be a problem?
It would be better. It would be better. It would be 100% better.
I'm trying to. Yeah,
like that's what I'm trying. There's a disconnect between PoE 2 mapping and PoE 1 mapping, and I know we talked about how like you have that initial setup of getting the feedback from the Atlas passive points, but even ignoring that, like there's still a lot of pretty big disconnects, and like if even like increasing the amount of rewards from getting mapping, there's just still something off, and I don't know if it's the portal meta. What were you gonna say, Miso?
Oh no, I don't think I was gonna say anything. I was just gonna say that saying that it feels bad. I think having the extra tablets or being able to use your tablets again would make it feel a lot better.
Right, because you're still using an instance of the tablet, right? So on that first map you failed, just go again. I wonder if there was like an abuse case that they couldn't solve because they didn't have enough time to implement it.
Maybe it's about they don't want you to keep running one map over and over again because like if you could keep using tablets, then you would just maybe some people would be like, I'm just not going to kill the boss. I'm just going to TP out, come back in, and then just put the tablet back in. But like, it's hard again.
That's exactly
because,
what would
like,
happen.
It's just it's an all or nothing thing where it's like you die and you lose the fun. You can't have fun on that map anymore. But you need to go through it to progress to the next one. But you can't.
Yeah. I was about to say, should it like just complete the area, but like you don't get any rewards, but then people would just like instantly like void maps to like skip them fast. So like it'd be so cheesable. Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, I just think that maybe portals shouldn't be tied to. I think it should go back to 6 portals. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it should just go back to 6 portals. Maybe we should just go back to 6 portals. Because I
think it like if the visual clarity is going to be this difficult, like it's just like a side effect of the PoE 2 graphics, where we're just gonna have to like deal with the visual clarity. I guess I know the solutions always say go play hardcore. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm too old and I'm a bum. I'm gonna stick to my softcore.
So much time potentially wasted. By the way, man, starting in hardcore, actually getting far and going to softcore sucks way more than I thought it was going to. Oh my god, I didn't realize. No gold. Your stash tabs are all messed up. None of your side quests are completed. You don't have any of your crafting recipes.
Oh really?
my God.
Oh right, because you
Oh
transferred
my
leagues.
God.
That's so funny.
I didn't realize.
It's really
I
bad.
didn't think about that.
It's really
I
bad.
didn't think about
again.
that. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Didn't realize.
Yeah, and you got to go back and do
learned.
your quests for like the reforging
bench
bench
craft.
or whatever. It's
Yep.
just it
Yep.
sucks. It's not a very good system that they have.
I had to
right
redo
now.
King's March, all the King's March setup side quests. I had to do that. Oh, it hurt, but it is done.
We've kind of been all over the place with this combo, but I didn't even actually look at, or like, I didn't follow the show notes. We
It
just kind of
doesn't
been going
matter.
everywhere. I'm curious. Try just going back to the PoE 1 combo. Like, what would you rate the league?
I would rate the league. The initial number that came into mind was 7 out of 10. But I think that after a little bit more consideration, 8 out of 10. So the reason I initially go to 7 out of 10 is it's because I'm a stubborn boy and I tried to make Cleave of Rage work. And that was quite the journey to tier 16 and a half maps. And I think in PoE 1, just like in PoE 2, honestly, you just, unless you have infinite currency and time, there are just some skills that you cannot make work. And unfortunately, I really love the concept of Cleave of Rage as a skill. I love the feeling of it, but I just couldn't make it work. So I was a little frustrated for a little bit there. I swapped to slams for the first time ever. Guys, playing PoE for 6 years, every league except last league, I've never played slams. Holy crap, they are massively fun. Love Ground Slam. What a great feeling. Very powerful. Ever since playing Ground Slam, man, I've been cruising, having a great time. So, Cleave of Rage, 7 out of 10. Slams, 8 out of 10. Genesis Tree, absolutely love it. Very basic gameplay loop of go kill monsters in breaches for a few maps, come back to Genesis Tree, set up what you want to craft, and hope it births out what you really are looking for, or at least a good base, and actually have it succeed quite a bit of the time. I really like that. I would almost want to see that, or a version of that, crafted to Path of Exile too. I think it would work, honestly, especially for that early game, or if you're like me, late game, very powerful initial item creation. It's a very cool system.
Mm-hmm. It feels almost Path of Exile 2-esque sometimes.
That's
my
what
opinion.
I feel like.
It's a pretty
I feel
Path
like
of
it
Exile
was a
2
PoE
system.
2 system.
Yeah, big fan of it. So I've been really enjoying the league, which shocked me because I thought I was basically done with PoE 1 after 3.26. I did not like it. I just bounced so fast. I didn't even finish Act 4. That's insane. I'm usually past Act 4 in like 3 hours. And then I ended up playing this. I beat the campaign in like 7 hours. And I've just been playing like casually pretty much every night, late at night, and really enjoying myself. So I'm like in tier 17 maps now. I did Maven last night and killed her on my last portal. Favorite boss fight in the game. In both games. Maven is so peak, you guys. Oh my gosh. I peaked in the final phase with all the beams up. Before then, I lost 4 portals to the memory game.
Oh.
Beams come up, baby. I just locked in and I did the memory game with the beams twice. And I was like, oh, yes, let's go. So that also is kind of showing you what my DPS was like. So it wasn't that great. Not a great uptime, but it was really fun.
Yeah, maybe it's great.
I like Sirius. I like Sirius. This is my first league where I did a lot of bosses, and I think Sirius might be one of my favorite, if not my favorite PoE or ARPG boss I've ever done. If we get more fights like Sirius, like we need fights like Sirius in PoE too. That was super fun.
It's a controversial opinion, but I really like him too.
I think it's very interesting.
He's the one where he's like floating in the air and he comes down and he's like the big red black balls, right? Okay, I like that fight. Why don't people like it?
Die.
Oh.
Pretty much that.
Okay.
The die beam, the off screen. I think a lot of people remember it from initial release in 3.9 when the die beam would off screen you. Like you'd spawn in, you'd walk out of your grace period, and then the die beam would come from like 4 screens away.
With Shaper beam before, plenty of times.
Yeah. Oh,
Shaper was cool. I did a lot of bosses. I did a lot of bosses I had never done before, and they were I like a lot of the bosses in Endgame. They're super fun. But Shaper was the one that was like, oh, if we get like a fight like this that like we aren't one-shotting, it's actually we're forced into like a 3 to 4 minute fight. Like, because Arbiter Ash is not a good fight in my opinion. Like ignoring the one shot, like even in a 2 to 3 minute fight, I find him very mechanically boring. I don't know if that's just me. I feel like he's not a bad fight, but he's not like, I would say most of the PoE 1 endgame fights that I just did were better than Uber Arbiter, for sure.
I would agree with you, honestly. I like Shaper, Maven, Searing XR.
I like Jet.
Maybe.
I think Jet is a cool fight in a Breach. I think he's got a lot of fun mechanics, but even then, like I think he's cooler than Arbiter. Yeah,
topples over.
Yeah, Arbiter has massive aura, but after you get his mechanics, it's a pretty simple
even
fight.
if you don't one shot him, it's like after you've gotten the mechanics down, it's
But I feel like that's kind of like
you
how
have to
it
have
should be.
For sure. I feel like that should be the
understand
average boss.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking like Uber bosses and like pointing to push a pinnacle fight, like having like a hard what was it? It was the fight that's it's not serious. It's the two bosses that are mixed together.
Uber Elder.
Yeah, Uber Elder. Like that shit's fucking awesome. Like we need chaotic fights like that. That like obviously once you get the DPS.
It's not actually that chaotic though, because at first I thought it was pretty chaotic. But then once you understand that, I think Shaper does like 3 or 4 rounds of attacks into a beam. After I understood that, it was like.
I didn't do Uber. I didn't do that fight. I only watched a video on it. I quit before I got that far. Only made it 6 days.
It's a fun fight. I'm probably gonna try that tonight. So
cool.
We'll see.
Yeah, I wanted to get through all of them, but I blame the build. Everyone told me not to play the build I played, but I did it anyway because I'm me. So.
What did you end up playing? Just the skill? What is it?
Cyclone Assassin, Poison Cyclone Assassin.
Interesting. Okay.
The biggest reason I quit was because of the AoE radius. Like having to I just had to be on top of bosses, and like even like on like Sirius was a problem at a lot of times where I just like couldn't DPS them. Maven specifically, Uber Maven was impossible because I wasn't able to get close to DPS the brain because sometimes the puddles would be overlapping too much, and my cyclone just wasn't big enough to fucking get in close enough range to damage them. And it was fun until I ran into those problems.
Magnified effect.
Yeah, I mean.
Build some magnified effect in your, character.
I tried, but
and everything.
I was losing too much for that. Even with magnified effect and stuff, it was. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty I could have solved, but there's other reasons why I quit the league. But
maybe
the bosses are super fun.
Maybe this is talk about a different topic, but bring us back to another topic. I want to talk about this because I think it's pretty interesting. Diving deeper into PoE 1, I've come to understand a lot of why GG has made certain decisions about PoE 2 that seem very simple on the surface, and like, wow, this is way too simple. I don't know. They should make it more complicated. But then I look at PoE 1 and I'm like, oh, this is why they did this, because it is so confusing to do this. Because like there's a lot of people in my community. My community is mostly PoE 2 community, right? They come in and talk about like how they don't know how to progress their character and like make it tankier or make it stronger. Because like there's 5 different ways to like scale your character's defenses and offenses that if you're not using at least 3 of the 5, your character's just going to hit a hard ceiling that you're not going to be able to do. It's like, you want to, in PoE 2, it's like you want to be more survivable, get more armor, get more energy shield, get more evasion, whatever, right? But like in PoE 1, you can't just get more armor or get more evasion. You got to stack that stuff with like fortification. You got to stack it with endurance charges. You got to stack it with like, spell suppression. Like you can't just use one thing to like scale your defense and offenses. And that like a lot of people get stuck on that. They're like, I don't know. I'm improving my armor constantly, but I still keep dying. Or it's like, I'm trying to upgrade my weapon. I feel like I can't upgrade my weapon anymore, but I still feel like I'm doing no damage. And it's like, oh, you got to get like, frenzy charges, and then like, combine that with fortification, and like combine it with this and that. And then maybe like you got to put an influence on your thing to make it so that your magnitude of your physical damage is higher. And then your gloves also be influenced to get another +1 frenzy. Like, it's like there's so many avenues to scale your damage, and like the game has gotten power crept to a point where if you're not using these avenues, you're just kind of sinking.
I think that's inevitable for this game to turn into that, though. I think like it's only a matter of years before we're seeing like, tech rod stacking with all these crazy new jewels, with cluster jewels, with like all that stuff. I feel like that's just an inevitability of ARPGs. We're just going to eventually have all of these layers of new stuff.
I hope it's more explained in the game, as opposed to needing to go, sorry guys, to like a YouTube guide to explain, yeah, you actually need all this stuff on your character, or you're just going to get one tapped, even in tier 16 maps, right? If you don't have like endurance charges, super high armor, damage taken as max res, like increased max res and everything, you're just going to die. I just hope it's explained in game a little bit better. Because you just got to, I don't think anybody would really figure that out in Path of Exile 1, like how to scale all these defenses to be super tanky in T16s, T17s, unless you are a very intelligent person. Honestly, I think you got to do out-of-game research in, POE, like Wiki, or in POB and everything. I like that in POE too. You can do everything in game for the most part, except those darn abyssal mods. Those
I think that's eventually going to. I don't know. We'll see. Like, you learn a lot of that stuff in a system like Delve. Like, whenever you can really push the numbers of your character, like where you figure out a lot of the defensive stuff. I'm assuming is like that's just where you have to build the tankiest characters right now is in Delve. So I imagine that's where a lot of stuff got scienced out.
It's not it's not about like where you can find. It's not about like where you get pushed. Like I think what you're saying is like you find a lot about it in Delve because it forces you to actually build your character tanky.
Yeah.
But it's I'm more talking about, and I think Cal tries more talking about, well, I'm hitting this wall. How do I overcome this wall? And that's not explained well. And you can't figure that out unless you're going to outside resources. So that's what he's more talking about, rather than having the content that pushes you, because you can find the content that pushes you really easily, really quickly.
Right. No, what I'm saying though is that we don't have that content that pushes. Like I just like we're gonna get content that enables GGG to design around harder content, and like we're just eventually pushed towards that through new content. Like right now, there's nothing in the game that GGG is designing those kind of defenses around, but they're coming. I feel like unless this is just like the baseline, like hardest hitting stuff we're getting is like Simu 3 type shit, or like Arbiter.
No way. No,
but I feel like it's going to get way harder, right? And then from there, it's just like inevitable that.
I think they're still figuring out what they want, like the power ceiling to be, and how everything's going to function together. I think there's just going to be big swings every single patch, honestly, until everything's like all the base tools are in the game, the passive tree is fully fleshed out, and then and only then are we going to see like the baseline of what they expect PoE 2 to be. At least that's my hope and desire. Like I hope they keep going hard with all the changes and they don't get stuck on any one thing, and they keep making the big swings, adding these big new features, like they added sprint and stuff like that. It's like game changing. I hope they keep doing with that instead of like keeping everything pretty steady, pretty safe.
I think they take lots of big swings for sure. Like I think the removal on the cooldown on weapon swap is like a way bigger change than people like give credit to. Right. Like because a lot of these skills were designed under the understanding that there would be that delay, right? And that just fundamentally changes so many things. The spirit gem change, being able to put multiple spirit gems across all your skills, like those are big fundamental changes that they take swings, and it's hard to predict what swings they'll keep taking. We talk about like all this, like one of the topics today was like what we want from PoE 1 and PoE 2, and there's a lot of stuff that we definitely want, but we also want them to keep trying new shit they haven't tried before, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Support gems. That's not spirit gems. Sorry, I was like trying to think spirit gems. What are you talking about?
Yeah, support gems.
Oh, did I say
multiple
spirit gems? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. We're long into the podcast. Brain fried. It's 9
Oh,
p.m.
no
you're good,
worries.
man. All good.
Yeah. It's gonna be a work in progress.
Yeah. One thing from POE 1 that I want in POE 2. Man, it's the neuron thing, man. Give me those map bonus objectives. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I want.
Ooga ooga.
Yeah, basically, man. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I felt so red when you were saying that to me. So it was crazy. I was like, that is me.
It's something you can work towards at the very early on, and you don't have to like do that much to actually do it. You don't have to like, go through multiple maps or like try to get like money, like currency to get it. It's just
maybe it's because I'm a delver that I don't like it.
Maybe.
Because to me it's always a chore doing those things, because it's just like I end up out leveling them, and I'm always like, it's not the first thing I do right away. I know like the Fub Gun video talks about how like one of the first things you do when you hit Endgame is just you go through your maps. You always start with the lowest level one, no matter where you're at progressed, and you just checkbox through it. And that's not how I approach it. It always ends up being a tedious chore to me, where it's like, I gotta go get my Atlas points. I don't want to do this shitty yellow map when I'm already, delve 200 or something. So maybe it's just a me thing.
I mean, I think it's just because you don't want a map.
Maybe that's just it. Maybe I just don't like mapping.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't know. I don't hate PoE 2 mapping. It just doesn't have. Yeah. What about you, Misa? What are you dying from PoE 1 for PoE 2?
PoE 1 from like to put PoE 1 move into PoE 2.
Yeah, what is something you're feeling is missing?
I mean, I feel like we talked a lot about it, or we talked about a lot of it. But I think the biggest one that's on the top of my mind right now is just Atlas. Just having a much more fleshed out Atlas that you can actually have a strategy, like a farming strategy. I don't want it to, like, the nice thing about the PoE 2 Atlas is that, there's like a really nice baseline. For example, like in PoE 1, I feel like if I'm running into a map with an expedition and I don't have expedition spec'd into, there's no point in me running it. Whereas in PoE 2, I'm like,
that's fair.
I have an expedition.
That's actually a really good point.
It's already fleshed out. Like, yeah, I don't have the tablet, but I'm still getting a good baseline of drops because this tree is filled out. So I'm just gonna go do this expedition real quick, and I have the big bomb too. So it's like I just have to do it once, and then boom, we're done. Whereas in PoE 1, I'm just never gonna do it because I don't have it spec'd into. That's what I like about PoE 2 Atlas, but again, I do want there to be a little bit more customization and a little bit more like, this is my farming strategy, and I have made my Atlas to be, centered around it. So it's like pushing the floor up, but then also making it so that the ceiling for, what type of content you want to farm is like customizable.
That's a fair point. I like that.
Me as well.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. And really in PoE 1, if it's not something you're spec'd into, it's not like it's a waste of time, but really kind of, just blow past it, right? You're not going to do expedition and all that. And it shows up a lot, because every map has, new stuff in it. And yeah.
That's why you just exit out with your tree. Screw it. I'm not spec'ing an expedition. I never want to see it again. There you go. It's cool.
Yeah, you can do that. You definitely can do that in PoE.
The block.
PoE 1.
Yep.
Yeah,
the block.
Them.
Very cool. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Never want to hear the trial master ever. Just done. Ultimatum.
Cut him out.
Do you guys think we're gonna get new Breach? PoE 2?
I think we're gonna get new Breach. I don't know about the Genesis tree though. As much as I really want it.
Tree. We're not getting Genesis tree.
As much as I'm saying, please Genesis tree, I think we'll get the new Breach. At least the new way, the new initial Breach mechanic where you have the bar and you're racing the bar to kill the monsters. I don't know if they'll add the Hive Fortress and the defend mechanic, but I think at least Breach will be updated. Yeah. I like the variety. I do enjoy that quite a bit. And I mean, if the defend Aelith mechanic, it's not that bad. I like how it's over, like the swarms are coming at you, and some of the blight-like abilities do feel pretty impactful and fun. So I've actually grown. It's grown on me. I initially did not like Defend Aelith, but now I'm good with it. So
I am still lukewarm on Defend Aelith. I
are?
think it's well, at the very least, it's not rewarding enough for the amount of time it takes. So basically, I only do the regular breach where it opens up, and I do the hives. I don't do the Defend Aelith because it takes too long, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't
I
give
got
you
that
enough
vibe when I was playing.
rewards for the amount of time you're spending on it. And then the hives,
Got it.
It's like kind of a better. Even though you're taking longer to do it, the rewards itself are a little bit more rewarding, so it makes me feel like I should do them more. So yeah, but at the same time, there is an appreciation for the simplicity of how breach is, or it was, which I think like the regular opening up breach still accomplishes. But then the other ones, especially if you're playing like a melee build like I am, you end up having to think a little bit more. You end up having to be like, okay, I gotta play this whole, like, I feel like I'm playing Dota. I'm like looking at the mini map constantly to see where the waves are coming from.
Yep.
Oh,
That's how I play. That's what I think about when POE 2. Like I think about some of the melee builds in POE 2 having to deal like a big high defense. That sounds really rough. Without like some form of like Herald Prolif, like you're good luck defending Alva. Or not Alva, whatever her name is.
Aelith.
Aelith.
Yeah. So I think there's merit to just like turn your brain off Unga Bunga. But there is some fun to be had with the defense. For me, I still kind of just like the simplicity of breach. Just like, walking into it opens up, monsters come out, and you just kill them. So, lukewarm. 50-50. Pros and cons.
Okay.
Cool. I don't think there's anything we missed. Miso, you have a bull of the week?
Yeah, I do.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is so my build of the week this week is it might be a same thing, like a new flavor of a same thing, right? But it's a Jelly Ace. He has 68 subscribers, but he has a Mjolnir build. He calls it a budget Mjolnir Gemling Legionnaire. And basically scaling attack speed super high, using Bone Shatter to kind of like get around, but he also uses it to proc his Mjolnir with the typical lightning orb, all lightning plus what is it called, lightning warp. But then he also has a Mjolnir with double arc on it as well. But it's just cool because it's it seems pretty dang low budget when I was looking at the ninja, right? It's just Rhoa, a bunch of rares. He has an Astra, which this league is pretty dang cheap. His Astra isn't even that amazing. And he's using a Constricting Command, which is very cheap. No special belt, no nothing. Like, just kind of very, very basic equipment. And he has a chiming staff, which you just buy for like an alk or something like that. So it's like a very, very cheap build that seems very efficient.
Yeah, this looks cheap.
And just it maps with Sunder, which I'm sure you could probably change to something else. But it's just, I like this, how cheap it is and how simple it is to get this done. I haven't really.
Sunder's just really good for these Mjolnir builds. My Mjolnir build used it, and like it's just really good at like long distance enabling your lightning warp. So it's pretty standard.
Yeah, but I don't know what were you using to proc your Mjolnir when you were single targeting.
What was I using? I was using Crown of Eyes instead.
Well, I'm saying like what skill were you using?
I was using the hammer throw thing at the ground with the molten slam. I forget the name of the skill.
Yeah.
That's
Forge
what I was
Hammer.
proccing. Because the fissures would spam proc it under bosses.
Yeah, but this
is really cool.
It's like a nice like zoomy one, right? Because yours probably wasn't moving as quickly as his because he's respectful to attack speed and everything. Like, it seems pretty sick, pretty cool, low budget, right? Just very, very nice.
Do you think Bone Shatter, like these movement speed techs with like Bone Shatter, Tempest Flurry and stuff, do you think they're going to survive the patch?
I think so. I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so. Because they're cool. I've had a few Bone Shatter builds that are super fun to move around with, and I don't know why. I'm like nervous it's on the radar for nerfs, but I hope it doesn't get nerfed.
Yeah, hopefully not. We'll see. There's just every single patch with Path of Exile 2, it's just like the game is getting turned upside down. That's how it works right now.
It's hard to practice right now.
Unless you're playing Lightning Arrow.
White.
That's been
or
strong.
ED Con. ED Con's probably safe. Lightning Arrow probably safe.
Do you guys think they'll knock out the Rhoa? I think Dreamcore has been talking about how they need to delete Rhoa from game. What is the Rhoa opinion here? Delete or keep?
I think if they keep it, they need to make every single ranged ability be able to use it, and not just bows. But outside of that, I don't think it would do harm to the game to get rid of it. But I think a lot of people would be unhappy. A lot of people would be very unhappy.
A lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people that do Rhoa use the CI cheese that makes it impossible to get knocked off. So, if it was a little easier to get knocked off, maybe it's slightly more balanced. But
I don't think so, because last league, Lightning Spear, they didn't have the cheese, and you couldn't. And it was even worse. Rhoa was even worse than what was this league with because last league you couldn't recover stun meter unless you got off the Rhoa. This league you can.
So yeah, Rhoa's nuts. I don't know. I don't want it to I don't know. I like my Rhoa build I did, so I don't want Rhoa gutted, but that build's probably getting gutted.
I mean, you were abusing a bug for that one. You were doing a bug abuse.
Well, even with the bugs, we solved it without the bugs. We got it to where it wasn't taking damage anymore.
Oh no, I'm talking about the damage, the crit bug.
Oh yeah, the malice bug.
Yep. Yeah,
there's no fixing that one right now.
Yeah,
hopefully they just.
I don't know
if we get a Prism of Belief. If we get a +3 Prism of Belief for Rhoa, that means GGG wants the build to live. that's what saves the damage. So we get a Prism for Rhoa, but we don't have that. But yeah, I think that I don't know. Rhoa's a problem. Just because I don't know. I don't think I like the world where all range skills can use it. I think that's worse. That's I feel like Rhoa is just
make the disparity between melee and range even higher.
Yeah, that makes me feel worse.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being able to use it with melee either. I think everybody should be able to use it.
Crossbows with a Rhoa sounds danger.
Oh yeah,
that sounds so fun.
Yes,
I don't know. I have a problem with Rhoa.
It's hard to balance. It's very hard to balance. I don't know what they can do to make it strong, but not too strong. Maybe it's you need to if you want, right now, you can just kind of slap Rhoa on and do nothing, right? And it's just very effective. Maybe it's a thing where, if you want to use Rhoa, you need to actually spec into it to make it, as good as it is right now. Because right now, you don't need any investment to make Rhoa work. Rhoa is just you have the spirit, boom, you get on it, you're done, you're good. You
just invest into your character's defenses, and, that makes the Rhoa better,
Yeah, you don't have to go out of your way to do anything to make Rhoa work. I think maybe
I agree with that.
You might need to invest. Maybe it's the speed of your Rhoa, or I don't know, something, whatever. There's something you need to do something to make it so that you can actually, there's a drawback for using it, because right now there's no drawback whatsoever. And I mean, I know people hate drawbacks, but
you need drawbacks.
You need drawbacks. You can't
it's not as pervasive.
Exactly. It's you need to have drawbacks, but you also need the solutions for those drawbacks.
Yeah.
It's bad when you don't have the solutions, or it's the solution is you need to give up way too much to make up for those drawbacks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Good takes.
Indeed. I'm known for having good takes, It's my middle name.
Right. Keep those POE 2 videos coming.
I'm trying, though they're going to come to a pause for a little bit, for about probably a week and a half, because I'll probably still be making some videos in Japan once they start leaking out the
Right. Yeah. Hope that's a good trip. Have fun.
Thank you. It's funny, Blaze is also going to Japan. He's going to tomorrow or something like that. He's going to be it's crazy.
Damn. Are you going to be there at the same time at all?
Yep, we are. But I think he's with his his partner, so I'm not gonna I don't want to intrude upon that. So yeah.
Don't you both live in California anyway? So if you wanted to hang out, you probably could.
Well, I think he's in SoCal, which would be a 6-7 hour drive for me. So
yeah.
See, and I thought Blaze was Canadian, so now I'm just all confused.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where he lives. I'm just saying, Cal was saying he's maybe in California.
He might be Canadian, but I know he lives in California. Right? Doesn't he live in California? Maybe I'm completely wrong. I thought he hung out with Off Meta Michael, and aren't they in California? Maybe I'm completely off base.
I'm not going to say anything.
Maybe I'm completely wrong. I might be completely wrong. I'm either right or I'm wrong. It happens a lot on this podcast. But yeah, just so everyone who's watching knows, the next few weeks might be a little bit weird with like the release schedule of the podcast and stuff. Rabbit is going to be back, but again, the next few episodes, Miso's the producer of the podcast. He's the one who does like all the streaming and stuff. I don't know if that means I'll be doing the recordings or Rabbit or him will be doing it from where he's at. But there might be a little bit hiccups with the production over the next couple of weeks. But everything will get back to. We'll still be doing episodes. That's what's most important.
Yeah, I think is Rabbit back next episode?
I think so because I think we're doing because next episode is when we're announcing the winners, right? So it's going to be on Friday, right?
Yeah. So he's back next episode, but I will be gone starting then. So there's not going to be live podcasts for the next 2 episodes, but they will all be uploaded as VODs.
Yeah, VODs.
Beautiful. Well, you guys have excellent episodes. It was fun. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out for a longer episode. I figured this one would be shorter, but nope. And we talked plenty. We probably could have talked a lot longer, to be honest. There's a lot to talk about. We really didn't even dive into what we want from 0.4 at all. We just kind of talked about POE 1 and 2 and what we thought. Yeah, this was really just a yap podcast. It was fun.
Good,
a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Try. We'll bring you back faux show. Any shout outs? What are you going to be doing for 04 and stuff?
I am going to be growing out my beard for Druid and playing a Druid in 0.4 when it launches. I'm very excited. It's going to be the year anniversary of Path of Exile 2, but it's going to be a free-to-play weekend. My wife is laughing at me. I'm going to grow this beard out, and I'm going to play a Druid, okay? It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I'll shave it when I die in hardcore on my bear Druid, okay? And yeah, I'm very excited for it. I think GGG has been making sure Druid is perfect for the release, and we're going to find some broken builds and have a good time with the new Endgame. That's it.
Miso, what's up with you, man?
I mean, 10 in Japan soon. I'll be doing IRL streams there. So if you want to check me out, for some IRL Japan fun, come hang out. It'll be probably around my usual streaming time though. So anybody who lives a normal, I guess, lifestyle might not be able to tune in. Or if you are living in a different time zone, you will be able to tune in, So, but yeah, we're gonna be in Japan for a little bit. Gonna be a lot of fun doing IRL streams. But other than that, Twitch.tv MeSelectShrew, YouTube MeSelectShrew. That's where you find me.
Yeah, just a reminder that you have, I think, 6 days to submit for the Raid Class World Tour. It is our little hideout competition. And I have no idea how many people are going to submit. The deadline is in like 5 days, and I'm sure people are like cooking up until the last minute. So I'm sure we're going to get like a lot of submissions last minute. But right now there hasn't been many. So, if you're like, I don't think I'll win, who knows? Maybe just spend an afternoon messing around with the hideout and give it a submit. You have a reasonably good chance of potentially winning. So thanks for Mobilix for sponsoring that event, and hopefully it's a lot of fun when we showcase the hideouts that win next week. I believe that's the Friday where that will be announcing those winners. Maybe the VOD now goes live the next day, but
I think it goes live the 21st is the plan. It'll be announced on the 21st.
So something like that, yeah. But for me, just at some point soon, I'll start making POE 2 content whenever we start getting the ticklings from GGG. But until then, I'll just be back on the podcast every week. So, yep, that's it for me. And thanks again, Try, for coming on. See you guys next week. Bye.